Okay, it's bright and early in the morning and we are hauling rebar today. Yesterday we got the first part laid out, but we had to go get some more rebar. So that's it. Rebar goes in today and hopefully we're gonna pour some concrete tomorrow. Oh man, I forgot to put bug spray on. I'm already getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, so I'll be right back. Alright, I'm all bug sprayed up. You can see the glistening protection of armor on my arms. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's try this again. Look how strong I am. I can just bend this rebar. It's hot already. It is 8 o'clock in the morning. The sun isn't even really up in the sky. It's already over 80 degrees and whew. Okay, let's keep rolling. We have a few pieces of rebar left over, but you know, every homestead needs a little rebar. So we may need it for a future project. They make great planter hooks and garden trellis and vine stakes for veggie gardens. I'm never going to have a veggie garden, but I just keep telling myself I might. We'll see.
Am I waiting on something?
No, you're going.
Okay.
All right, that's slick. So there's these really cool tools that you can buy for tying rebar. And we did not buy them because we saw that you can just take a nail, make a hook, put it in your drill, and it works slick. So you just put the rebar tie underneath the joint and then the hook through the two holes, a little spin. Don't over spin it because they'll break, but there you go. That's it, moving on. Every joint gets a tie, and then where we have two rebar overlapping, Mark's gonna tie them up. And you just put several of those down the overlap, and then he'll come back and look at that, easy peasy. And then I'll put one in the joint. Okay, 8 down. 4,000 to go.
No problem. Oops, broke it. That's all right. That's the joint going right there.
This is gonna take all day long.
Yep.
So the ties we're using on it's pretty interesting and pretty ingenious. The ties we're using on the rebar come on this big huge spool. There's 1,000 of them here. I think we'll have enough. And they come like this, and you just feed them off of these wires. And then they've got the two little loops on the ends. You wrap them around, spin them up, and there you go. One little trick we've learned is that give that thing a bend first before you try to put it in. Makes it a lot easier. Also, you put a little downward pressure, then this tightens up all the way down, so it makes a nicer tie. Put a little bend in it first, go underneath the joint, hook it up like that, and a little downward pressure allows that to spin all the way to the bottom. Fast and easy. All right, so we got all the rebar tied, and now we have to put in the chairs. Not this kind of chair. This kind of chair. These are called chairs. They're little risers that go under the rebar to keep the rebar in the middle of the concrete. But these are the shortest ones they have at 2 inches, and they're going to put the rebar way too high for our pour. So we are going to use those around the outside edge. But in the middle, we don't want it quite that high. So we're making our own chairs by filling these little, what are these, like little dinner savers?
Yeah.
We're filling these with mortar. And then they can just stay in there, and they'll raise this up 1.5 inches, which is exactly what we need. It's gonna take 3 bags of 60-pound mortar mix in order to make our 80 bricks. Mark is mixing up the mortar. How does that feel?
Good.
All right. Now I get to play in the mud. So it's like making little bricks. This is just mortar in these little trays. They don't have to be beautiful because they're gonna get buried in concrete. These are gonna stay just like the plastic chairs would stay underneath the rebar, and the concrete would pour all around those, and they would stay in there forever. These little bricks are just gonna go in under the rebar, and the concrete's gonna pour in all around them, and they're gonna stay. We did decide to also make the lids because there are some places where the gravel's a little higher, so we're gonna make, it's like making mud cakes, like when you were 3 in the mud, or 5. I don't know, I never made mud cakes in the mud. I was a girl. Mark, when do you make mud cakes?
I don't know. I never made them. My sister made them, but then she tried to make me eat them, and even as young as I was, I saw right through that.
Okay, well, we've got 40 bases and 40 lids, so we'll come back when we got them all done. Mark's just starting to mix up the last one. These are our bricks in progress, laid out to dry. I feel like we're in some third world nation with brick making. And that's how many we have left to make with this last bag. And then we're going to bed because it's been a long day. Ah, right on my knee. The last one. I made it all this way. Bloop. Oh well. Cleanup time. Last brick. And there, our beautiful work is done. I haven't counted them. I probably should. 92 bricks. That's a lot of bricks. Well, our little mortar risers seem to have worked. We got nice little mortar, stone, rock. I don't know what you call them anyway.
Bricks.
We got bricks. These bricks will go underneath the rebar in the joints, and that will lift the rebar and hold it so that enough concrete will flow underneath and keep that rebar centered.
Yeah, center. Well, I hope we have enough. We made a ton, but we'll see.
92. It was a hard day.
It was. And it was a hot day. Today's much cooler.
It's much cooler today.
Whoops.
All right. If this works out really well, maybe we'll go into the brick making business.
Okay. Let me know how that turns out for you.
Well, look at that. The mortar blocks, little bricks. Actually, we're using them as chairs. The risers, they came out great. We got ourselves a nice grid of rebar, and we are ready to pour, baby. Yay!